Yo guys, like what you see? You can thank Sai for that. And don't worry, we'll get to her later. So last month I had an interesting stream reacting to Sometimeseli. On paper, it's supposed to be about how Fandoms apparently ruined Arcane Season 2. And then 90% of the video wasn't even about Arcane Season 2, so... Betrayal! Trust me, I wish I could make this up. So I decided to make a pseudo highlight of that stream. Most segments of the video will be edited clips from my livestream reaction to Eli, and other times I'll just chime in myself just to clarify stuff that wasn't made clear at the time. Feel free to check out the full streams in the description. But before I get started, as always, do not harass Eli for their video. Feel free to argue against their points in their comment section, but don't dogpile them on my behalf. That ratio is punishment enough. Let's get it on.
Arcane is very much a product of its time, a modern-day video game adaptation blending 3D modeling with 2D details with an all-inclusive cast. It has tropes and archetypes up the ass, and the very premise of the show, a civilization that's neglected by its richer or more powerful counterpart, is so familiar I don't feel the need to detail it to you.
I mean, sure, I guess, but that has nothing to do with it being a product of its time. It's just that it's a tale as old as time. It's a universal concept in a story. Like, you can find any story that is like that in some way, shape, or form.
Not that it ever was a bad thing. It's fine for a show to be a culmination of decades upon decades of niche and cliche storytelling.
What do you mean niche? What about any of this is niche? Like, I guess niche in the context of, like, cartoons relative to other popular media, but stuff like Arcane, it fucking sells. What are you talking about?
Arcane, aside from obvious exceptions, was written by white queer people.
What does them being white and queer have anything to do with this? What the fuck?
Who spent their days seemingly not learning about the vast and complicated political sphere around them, but instead spent their time debating online as to which ships they thought were superior to the other.
Okay, and also not learning about the vast and complicated political sphere around them. What are you talking about? Clearly they have somewhat of an understanding if they made the first season as good as it was. If anything, the issue with the second season isn't necessarily that they have a poor understanding of politics, it's that we don't get enough insight into those things. I'm pretty sure that they would be competent enough in writing them in a way that is compelling and would make sense. They just didn't have the time. But let's see this other tweet. Christian, I've noticed a considerable amount of discontent surrounding Vi's character arc in the second season on the past few days. Many argue no longer possesses the prominence we witnessed in the first season. Christian Link, I've read that criticism. It's true that season 2 had other characters to occupy more screen time. As writers, we were interested in these characters. I really don't know what else to say. So this has nothing to do with character ships, like this person is saying.
So that was a fucking lie.
Oh my god, why does every YouTuber do this nowadays? Why is every single other YouTuber just say a thing, show tweets, and then the tweets that they show have nothing to do with what the fuck they just said? The context of this tweet from what Eli is showing has absolutely nothing to do with arguing with people on Twitter about, you know, shipping or whatever the hell. And like, at this point, they already made the show. The show is out. The show is done. So if they want to talk to their fans about whatever the fuck they want to, they have every right to do so, provided that they do so responsibly. Why the fuck is this a problem, dog? I don't understand.
I don't want to talk about Avatar.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
I don't think I need to explain why Avatar is good. It's just that Avatar is kind of the original sin when you think about it.
Oh my god, are they gonna pull the freaking Lily Orchard thing? No! Are they gonna pull the freaking Lily Orchard thing? Where they're gonna say, oh my god, every show nowadays is so bad because they're trying to be Avatar. No! Even if Avatar didn't exist, we would still have these issues. I'm sorry, okay? Get over it.
Like, I wasn't around when the Zutara shippers were running their musk around the presence of actual upstanding citizens.
Running their musk! Okay, that's a description. Jesus Christ.
But to say their lineage hasn't tainted the pot of discourse would be a lie. Look, there's nothing wrong with shipping Zutara, hell, even some of the writers do. But there's some very serious implications with shipping the son of a colonizer with a woman who's been colonized.
It's not that deep, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna cut in here. I'm pretty sure everyone with a frontal lobe gets the indication that you described. In fact, I'd argue that's a big reason why people shipped Zutara in the first place. Zuko and Katara are on opposite sides of this horrible conflict, yet through growing up and having some of the best interactions in the story and getting past each other's prejudices, they confide in one another despite their differences, even going so far as to end the larger conflict together with the help of their found family. I thought of this crap in like 5 seconds, and it's been about 4 years since I rewatched The Last Airbender in full. I'm pretty damn sure most people who like this pairing got the idea. Like, are there bad shippers out there?
No shit.
Does he ever tell us how this relates to Arcane Season 2?
Fuck no, baby!
So, after this segment, Eli then drags on and on about Korra, how bad it is, and why rabid fans' toxicity isn't helped by how bad the show is. And for the most part, I kinda sort of agree. I have some issues with what he says here, but unlike them, I actually want to get to the fucking point. Which reminds me, none of this applies to Arcane Season 2. Like, at all. Vi and Caitlyn's relationship doesn't suffer from problems similar to Korrasami at friggin' all. Their relationship is believably established, if not a little bit rushed, in the first season. We get an interesting start in the second season, and then it kinda peters out near the end. Korrasami wishes it had the screen time that Vi's Caitlyn did. The relationship kinda gets less well written during season 2, but that goes for every plot point in that show. None of which, by the way, end up that way because of the relationships, or any other relationships in the show for that matter. If anything, the relationship suffers because most of the story is spent on everything else and the larger plot instead of fleshing them out. It's hard for me to prove a negative because that's how little of their relationship is even in that season. You keep insinuating that the writers suffer from problems similar to those of these rabid fanboys and fangirls and fucking white queer people. What the fuck? I'm still trying to figure that shit out, dog. Like, I know you're saying that, like, it's not exactly all of these people who do this, and of course other people of other populations do the same thing, but it's like you keep blaming most of this shit on white queer people without evidence. What the fuck is wrong? But yeah, you keep trying to insinuate all of this fandom nonsense has anything to do with the writers of Arcane. Instead, you focus most of your video on needlessly dunking on fandoms of cartoons for getting crazy and somehow connecting it to the writers because they liked Korra and She-Ra, I guess. This is some Pepe Sylvia shit. Coming from the guy who's been dogging on the season every other week. Check out the Team Jack podcast, by the way. Hear my words right fucking now. Pocket the hate boner and stop wasting my time.
Certain stories are often criticized for being a male power fantasy, a way for pathetic and somewhat uninteresting men to see themselves in a character who has all of the power, all of the girls, but none of the things that would earn it. And while this criticism is definitely valid in a lot of anime, movies, etc., that doesn't mean that it only extends to one gender.
Okay, but why are you showing ReZero while you're talking about this? ReZero is anything but that, from what I've heard anyway. I haven't watched it myself, of course. But up to my knowledge, the whole point of ReZero is to actively subvert those tropes. Subaru is going through shit in order to get where he is. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Steven Universe has gotten pile-drived by half of the internet. Some more rationally than others, obviously, but let it be known that this show kind of deserves all of it.
Like, to a certain extent, I can understand why people started, like, dissuading over the show, and I had my problems with it too. That's why I joined in the hate pile back in the day. But looking at it now and a lot of the criticisms towards the show, a lot of them don't really hold up to scrutiny. I wish I had rewatched the show. Someday, I'm going to rewatch Steven Universe myself, just to truly judge where I lay with it, you know what I mean? But, like, dude, I would love for Sai to come over on this stream right here.
As the lesson Steven Universe got from its anime influences, Yuri likenesses, and melodramatic cartoon forefathers, ended up making it so every character on this show is almost astoundingly unlikable. And don't worry, the characters themselves agree with me, as there's a sense of unabashed insecurity reeking from the people in Beach City. Not because they have misplaced insecurities caused by trauma, neglect, etc., although they certainly do, but whether it is Pearl being so insecure about her own strength that she has to take advantage of someone else without their consent to feel stronger.
Is this Lily? No, this is exactly Lily's take. What is going on? Oh my god. Oh my god. I just mentioned Sai's name. Here she is. All right, I'm pretty sure everybody can hear you now.
Well, no one they're freaking out in the chat.
Yeah.
Literally was just like, oh, I need a video to watch, and saw you and saw Garnet and Pearl, and I was like, let's see what this is about. And then everyone in the chat's talking about me.
No, because straight up, we just started watching this video, and
You guys summoned me.
I guess I was saying that, like, I mentioned you.
I sensed it. I sensed it, and I
sensed it in
came.
the force. the minute
I said, some bitch is talking about me.
Holy shit.
That's so funny. But he's ripping off Lily Orchard's take, which is a rip-off of Riley H's take. Is that it?
I guess, yeah.
That's such bullshit. I hate it so much when people say this shit.
Hey, it's good that you're here. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Yuri likenesses, and melodramatic cartoon forefathers ended up making it so every character on the show is almost astoundingly unlikable. And don't worry,
Can we pause?
the characters themselves-
For one thing, Utena isn't Yuri. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh yeah, that's been
It's
like
not.
a big sticking point.
See, this is how I can tell this person has never seen it, because they think it's sword lesbians, and it's not.
I mean, here's the thing. I've
There's a
yet
lot.
to see it. I've yet to see it, and you don't hear me saying shit about it.
For free on YouTube, man. You need to watch it. But no, it's definitely a very interesting piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who think it's just like, we Yuri lesbians, it's like, that's really not what it's about. It's really, really not. And again, all the Utena references in Steven Universe are purely visual. There is nothing thematically related to Utena in Steven Universe at all.
Right.
It's just like a couple of animation references and the rose motifs and the shadow play flashbacks.
friend, the villains hating themselves for being intergalactic colonizers.
Okay, pause.
Okay.
When
Alright,
did the
this is a
diamonds
lot.
hate themselves for being... When did the diamonds hate themselves for being intergalactic colonizers?
Yeah, the closest
That was
person
maybe
that-
Rose? Rose, but the
Yeah.
others? No!
Yeah, because Blue was
What are you
sad that they
talking
were
about?
separated from Pink Diamond. Not because they were sad about what
Yeah,
they
but see-
did.
Blue, yellow, and white are like total Fermi paradox. They are aliens who don't see any other alien life as on the same level as them.
Right.
You know, even though like Greg runs up to Blue and talks to her in plain English, and she's still like, "Oh, you cute little critter, I'm gonna put you in Pink Zoo." You know?
Right.
They don't see other life forms as people. Because why would they? They're basically
Yeah.
space gods, you know? And that's
Yeah.
part of what makes them interesting and part of what makes them have to, you know, learn. Like, even by the movie, they still don't quite get it, you
Sure.
know?
Now, you
Especially
could
with
say...
White having to be reminded not to say lower life forms, but equal life forms.
Equal life forms. Now, of course, there are probably some like criticisms you can make about the way that they like how the pacing of their development went or whatever the hell.
Oh yeah, because the show got shit canned
Yeah, it
because of
got
a gay
canceled.
wedding.
Yeah.
You know.
But like,
But,
okay.
like, the Diamonds were grieving over Pink, you know? And yeah, maybe Yellow and Blue, like, had some self-esteem issues as well, because they were dealing with White their entire fucking lives.
Sure.
And White was obviously the matriarch of all four of them. But, like, no, they didn't regret being colonizers until Steven explained to them it was bad.
Yeah.
And again, this is the thing people do with Steven Universe villains. It's like, why do you think they should, like, objectively know human values? They are aliens. Why do you expect them to just, like, automatically know, like, oh, treating other people like objects is bad? What frame of reference do they have? And the thing about gems is that they're a very good vehicle for allegory, because they don't line up one-to-one with human relationships and human values. So they're very you can take a lot of the situations gems get into and apply it to all sorts of real life situations, and which is again a good thing for children. It is a children's show.
Yeah, this like I said before, I definitely want to like actually sit down and rewatch Steven Universe at some point pretty soon, just to get like a better understanding of it, just because you know, a lot of different things were happening, and I wasn't really like feeling how things were going in the latter points of the story, but I want to like check it from a fair lens, I guess.
Fully knows they're terrible people. If you want the best example of this, look no further than Rose Quartz.
Oh,
She's
shit.
honest to God just a gooner who wanted to goon in peace, but her dictatorship got in the way. I'm not kidding. That's what her character is. Like, yeah, she can eventually learn
pause.
the Earth and how
I don't know if you get to the part. I think I might have started before you.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm still in the Rose part.
I'm up to her. Yeah, I'm up to them talking about Rose wanting to goon in peace.
Okay. I think you okay, so you paused a little bit earlier, but
pause around where you are right now.
Yeah, 7.
So it's a joke. It's a common joke that Pink only started the rebellion because she wanted to fuck humans. Like, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's a
like,
joke.
isn't the idea is that like,
Bro.
oh my god, she saw like a different way of life that doesn't involve killing people, and she said she's all like, hey, maybe this.
Also,
might be all right.
like, Steven doesn't hate himself for being sensitive and emotional. Steven has a lot of self-loathing because he's been in his mother's shadow his entire life, and he's the helper. He's the guy who always feels like he has to help other people, you know, to the detriment of himself.
Yeah,
you know.
he's
but yeah,
sort
like
of,
in
overextending in order to compensate for the fact of, like, you know,
and also in future
things.
Yeah, for the first time in future, he's trying to figure out who he is without Rose. Because the entire original series...
The entire original series is about trying to, like, fix all the issues, and now that they basically beating the bad guys and everything's all chill, yeah, it makes sense for him to be much more introspective. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, he's got nothing to distract himself from. He's got no problems to fix, and then he has his own problems which he doesn't know how to fix, which is a very common problem with helper-type people. Yeah, and he's a 16-year-old boy, for fuck's sake. That's hard enough for a normal teenager. He just saved the fucking galaxy, you know? But, like, and also, the entire first original series, nobody knew if Steven was just a reincarnation of Rose or not. Nobody knew if he was actually his own person, and he had that hanging over his head, too, you know? And he convinced himself he had some sort of magical destiny because his mother was so great and powerful, and he had heard all these stories about her being a perfect rebellious leader and stuff, and he had all that pressure put on him. Whether he put it on himself or the people around him also kind of had big expectations for him. And Rose never actually wanted that for him, you know?
Yep. Yeah, so when you build a lot of your personality or your personhood off of that, of course you're gonna end up with some self-esteem issues. If anything, the show would be worse if he didn't do that, because that wouldn't make sense for a person like them to do.
humans as playthings when she met Greg. Ironically enough, she's just like the fans and the writers of the show, horny to a fault, while being unaware of the consequences of her flesh.
All right, pause. Okay, this is a big
Horny
issue
to
with
a
the video.
fault.
This is a big
How dare
issue.
woman be horny?
Okay, I understand the implication. The implication is that the fans are so horny that it robs them of their common sense or their media literacy, right? But like, here's the issue I had with this entire video so far is that you're saying all these big assumptions about these huge populations of people, and you're not even giving us any fucking examples. Like, I have no fucking attachment to any of these fandoms or any of these shows all that much. For real, really.
Didn't build the zoo. She didn't build the zoo. When
Also
she
true.
told Yellow and Blue she didn't want to colonize the Earth and she wanted to preserve it, they said, okay, well, we'll take some of these nice little animals you like and throw them in a zoo. That should be a good compromise, Pink.
Yeah.
Now finish your colony, Pink. They wouldn't listen to her. Because she was the baby of the family and the diamond with the least amount of power, and she is physically much smaller than the others.
Yeah.
And, they were always, like, treating her like she didn't know what she was doing. She thought a colony was what she wanted. Because a colony is what a big girl diamond does. She was gonna be a real diamond now and do a colony like all the others. But when she got there and actually looked at the planet, she went, well, I don't want to destroy all of this. This is great. I've never seen anything like this before. I like how everything's constantly changing and there's always something new. And Pink's powers also correlate a lot to organic life, which didn't exist on Homeworld. So she was in an environment that was not supportive of her and her nature, and she found a place that was.
Exactly.
This is very simple.
I don't understand, but like, even with that, again, you were just, at this point, you're just kind of low-key just attacking people. Like, I have no problem with talking shit about fans or people that say dumb shit online about a certain piece of media, whatever the fuck. I do it all the time. Show fucking proof. Just show proof of who the fuck is saying these things or who's doing these things, at the very least.
Yeah, right? Well,
just make it
tangible.
tangible.
They just assume.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing, pointing out that
It's shadowboxing.
But also, yes, she did treat Greg like a plaything when they were first dating.
Yeah, but that's
this
when
was
they
like
just
20
met.
years. But this was like 20 years before Steven's birth. But yeah, Pink was always very myopic. She didn't really understand the feelings of other people or how much she meant to other people. And yeah, even then, as a fucking space goddess, she didn't take humans that seriously. But Greg was probably the first human that called her out on her bullshit. You know? Like, he actually stood up to her and said, like, can you just talk to me like a real person for once?
Pretty much.
So,
that was
because like she literally starts laughing when he asks if she respects him.
Yep.
Like, oh, you humans are so funny. But yeah, oh my god, it's almost like she fucking had flaws like every other character in the show and people in general. Wow.
So yeah, it seems like this person, Pink, right?
Like, again, how can you not follow something written for children? Like, how do you fuck this? Like, you had to not be paying attention. And again, these are people who think this is how you interpret media. You have to take your existing politics and find them in the show instead of listening to what the show is actually telling you.
And then, well, I don't know if this person does it, but Lily will absolutely accuse people of doing the exact same thing, of like projecting their own taste or their own bullshit onto media where it allegedly does not apply. And I'm all like, Lily, that is you! Even
Instead
if you don't like it or
assuming.
you end up not thinking that it's good, at the very least, just don't fucking... just try to pay attention, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's what I always say. I don't care if you don't like the show, just don't fucking lie about it.
Yeah.
Like, don't make up shit about it and act like you're an expert.
Right.
That's a lot of problem with a lot of people today. Like they don't pay attention to shit. They hear about shit secondhand and they act like they're an expert on it and they just make
Now,
up shit.
granted, I don't know where this person got their takes from. Okay, gonna give
Lily.
them the benefit of the.
A lot of this is Lily-esque takes right here.
Well constructed enough to handle the deep and messy things these characters go through. So in the end, these characters just make each other miserable almost for the sake of it. And because of that, now the toxic shippers have a show that is not only about, well, toxic shipping, i.e. immature romances, but now their behavior is validated as they're given characters they can relate to.
Okay, pause.
Okay.
How the fuck is Steven Universe about toxic shipping?
Yeah, there's only a couple of ships that are like in the show that we focus on. The
Why are you
majority of the folk
showing
isn't even about that.
Why are you showing Spinel on the screen when you're talking about toxic shipping?
Yeah, what the what? That's like a friendship. Why?
Okay, bro. Just because people online like to ship characters, it doesn't mean that's what the content of the show is. I don't think you've watched it.
Dude, this is this sort of thing. Again, I know we keep mentioning their names.
The only canon relationships are Rose and Greg and Connie and Steven.
Yeah.
They do a little bit of ship baiting here and there, but it's not a lot.
But like,
you know, okay, you're annoyed by shippers. All right, that has nothing to do with the show.
listen, Sai. Here's the problem, okay? You're doing what I like to call the Maverick cycle, okay? The Maverick cycle is this: someone on the internet does something wrong, okay? They go Maverick. Their brain isn't working, all right? People call this person out for doing something wrong because they think it's weird. It's like, okay, that's cool. But then, along the way, someone goes too far. And they become Maverick themselves. So, they're at a crossroads between breaking the cycle, self-reflecting, and dealing with the problem the right way, or just repeating it themselves. And that is exactly what's happening here. You're seeing a bunch of weird freaking shippers or gooners on the internet who are probably teenagers that don't fucking know any better. And you're so backbroken by them that they are affecting your enjoyment of these shows or your analyses of these shows. That's what's happening.
Yeah. I never understood people like that. I've seen people like, I used to like this show, but the fandom ruined it for me. It's like, you can just ignore people.
No, here's my thing. Fandoms are fucking overrated. Who gives a fuck what freaking Tifa Lover 69 on Reddit says about freaking Final Fantasy 7? If you like the goddamn game, if you like the show, you like the movie, just like it. If you want to have conversations with people about it, that's fine. But relying solely upon the a whole ass community of people who you don't have control over in order to have enjoyment of a product, that's fucking stupid. If you're really that backbroken by it, why not just make a Discord server, invite a set few people that you trust, and just be good then, and just enjoy it on your own time? I cannot imagine how these people... I'm so glad I didn't grow up in these types of forums, because that sounds fucking exhausting. Being beholden and cut to all these random ass people. It's insane.
Yeah, because I think some of these people are kind of weak-willed with low self-esteem. So when someone says, you can't like that because this, and that is problematic, they listen to them. It's like, why are you listening to these people? They got nothing better to do with their fucking time.
Yeah, like, unless, at this point, unless you have, like, actual trauma, and, like, you have, like, some weird interaction on the internet, and it went into something crazy, like you got doxxed, or, you know, they found out where you live, and they did this and that to you, or whatever. Unless it's something like that, you have no business just, not wanting to watch a show because a bunch of people were saying this and that about it. If you want to see it, if you want to look at it a certain way, don't be cut by other people. Be open to different perspectives, be open to talking to people, but... at the end of the day, how you feel about a show is how you feel.
Well, yeah, and someone like this, it's very evident they haven't actually watched it, and they're just going by secondhand bullshit. Why they decided to bitch about Steven Universe in the middle of this, I have no idea. Like, what does this have to do with Arcane, bro?
Group, when not handled well, Steven Universe is a lesson in how romance, when it's the primary focus of a show, can make the entire cast
my
or at
God.
least certain
It
characters pretty
isn't!
shitty if
It
written
really
irresponsibly.
isn't.
Yes, in case anyone, Amanda, needed to know, not every action
Amanda.
can or
Oh,
should
right.
be justified
Amanda's
for
one of the
sake
writers of
true
Arcane.
love, especially if writing that love involves neglecting a victim of PTSD or the gassing of a city.
Oh
Like,
my
damn,
God.
you two really let her cook, huh? Steven Universe was at least more bearable for a while because it had strong ties to the Gravity Falls fandom, and so the theorizing was really fun. But it also had ties to other destructive fan bases like Star vs. The Forces of Evil, She-Ra, and Voltron. Thankfully, as
Okay, pause. Hold on a second. Let me actually say this.
Okay, wait a minute. What the fuck is this dude talking about?
I don't fucking know. I'm trying
Okay,
to
when did
process.
Gravity- Oh, Gravity Falls was before Steven Universe. I thought it was a little later. Huh.
Yeah, it
My
was.
bad.
It was before.
I was about
like
to say,
a
did
little
Gravity
bit.
Falls... It was contemporaneous. Okay, but listen. Doing the same thing Lily does. Steven Universe is Warner Brothers. Gravity Falls is Disney. They don't have
Disney.
any of the same people working on it except for, like, James Baxter.
Yeah, and that was like during their runs, like during production anyway. So it's like, okay.
Okay, so it's like, well, Steven Universe has ties to the Gravity Falls fandom. So?
Yeah,
That
but
has
like,
nothing to do with the content of either show.
yeah, like not only this
And they're acting
argument is
like-
predicated on the idea that like, oh yeah, the romance is the central focus of Steven Universe, which isn't even true.
It isn't.
It really
Absolutely not. Like,
But-
where are you even getting this idea, guy? Like that romance is a primary theme of Steven Universe. It's really fucking not.
Yeah, it really isn't. And I'm trying to
Again-
figure out, like, yeah, okay, all these fandoms overlap with each other, and yes, because they are big and popular, they're gonna attract a bunch of fucking, unhinged freaking teenagers and 8-year-olds with no impulse control, because the standards for parenting in this country has gone down to the fucking shitter over the past couple decades, 110%. Because of that, you're going to see weird shit happening like this. What the fuck does this have anything to do with the show?
This person is assessing shows by fandoms, which makes me think they don't watch these shows.
to a close, the fans should die along with
What?
it, right?
Okay, so this is Boku no Hero, which I know nothing about.
Okay, I'll take over for this.
And I destroyed All Might! Why did a damn small fry like you get strong?
White queer people have ruined fandom spaces. Now, I don't want to be that crass. Anyone from anywhere and any race, any sexuality can like what they like,
Yeah.
and adore what speaks to them. But frankly, I have been dancing around the subject for and MHA's fanbase, unfortunately, takes everything I've talked about to a whole new extreme that I can't ignore. for
Call it
much longer.
MHA, you fucking
is
tourist.
not-
Okay, pause. Number one, well, that. Number two, okay, you're talking about Western fandoms, obviously. Clarify, please. And number three, why the attention to white
queer people
white queer
ruin
people?
everything.
I guess black queer people.
Why
don't
did
do
you-
anything wrong? Why?
Black queer people don't ruin anything ever. Just ask Jussie
Dude.
Smollett.
You mean Juicy Smollier?
yeah, that's how you
yeah.
pronounce it correctly, right? Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
too
no,
white,
yeah.
apparently. Yeah.
What is with this special attention to fucking white queer people?
Because
I've
if you
seen
just
some
put-
weird takes from black queer people about My Hero Academia all the time.
Kaiser, if you just put white in front of anything, you can be as bigoted as you want to be. Don't you know?
Oh shit, is that easy?
Like again,
Okay.
it's a virtue signaling thing, you know? Like
100%.
why are we talking about Boku no Hero when you're supposed to be talking about fucking Arcane? How
Yeah,
are you
the whole
relating this
point-
to the topic?
Yeah, the whole point, I'm guessing the whole point is supposed to be that the fandom, right? You're accusing the writers of contracting the fandom gene, okay? The fandom gene that makes them cut to their audience, meaning that they are like reactionary, being reactionary with their writing. right? That they made season 2 in order to appease all the things that the fans specifically want.
I
But
assure
you're
you,
not
no
showing proof of
creator.
that.
I assure you, no creator in Japan is worrying about what the fucking Western audience thinks.
I know. What you're
Not a
talking
single
about? If you're
one of
talking
them.
about, yeah, if you're talking about My Hero, all the freaking backlash is after the series is over. 2, 1, go.
The women in MHA only exist to fill up the jar next to Horikoshi's desk is really difficult because, simply put, white queer people in fandom spaces usually don't care about the story and rather are just really horny all the time.
What was that tweet that just flashed by?
Yeah, what was that tweet? Hold on.
Just really horny all the time.
Yeah, what was that
so,
tweet that just finally you're showing some fucking
Toga.
evidence of these hordes of apparently white queer people that are not watching things when you
Yeah,
clearly
how
haven't
know
watched
this
any of the
person is
goddamn things
white,
you're talking
by the way?
about.
How you know this person is white, by the way? Anyway, so is Toga gonna be there for absolutely everything?
No, they're just saying that white
wait, they're
people
just
ruin
making-
it. White queer people specifically ruin everything, according to this
But
person.
like,
So
from this tweet is just making a joke about like, haha, the normal girl,
Yeah, like-
Ochako has the yandere chick in her head. Is she gonna be there when fucking her and Deku have sex? Ha ha ha! Big funny. They're making a joke. Do you know what a funny is?
it's like, bro, this is the worst thing you could find on Twitter. Really?
My God.
Toxicity of the previous two fan bases and
Oh
a
my
little bit of
God.
Voltron 2 reeled its ugly heads, and as a result, there were almost constant civil wars. And when that got boring, those same antics started popping up over in the Jujutsu Kaisen
Okay,
fan base.
pause.
Okay, pause. How about
This-
dude? How fucking old are you? Why the hell are you hanging
How
around in
is
these
he-
fandoms with a bunch of all these different people who are probably again fucking 14-year-olds, teenagers with no fucking impulse control? What the fuck is wrong with you? Get the fuck out of there.
Also, how are they building this narrative in their head that all of these fandoms meld into each
yeah,
other
like they
and
cascade into one
it
another.
causes the exact same problem? It's
They're
like
breeding,
people,
Sai, they're breeding.
People would actually think I'm. Oh, they're just going. People would actually think I'm right about my opinions if they weren't too busy shipping. Like, this is what it sounds like. Like, you're just fucking salty that someone told you, bro, you got the show wrong because you haven't even fucking paid attention.
And also, how in the fuck did any of this seep into the Jujutsu Kaisen fan? Like, granted, again, I'm not on Twitter all that much, so I have no freaking idea. I have
No, they're
never heard
making it up.
anything-
They're basically saying fandoms have evolved from Steven Universe to Gravity Falls to Voltron to Boku no Hero to Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's all like the same people or
I
something
see.
somehow.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not just that, like, you know, when you put a bunch of different humans in a spot where they talk about mutual interests, different people have different ideas about
And it's
their mutual interests.
and it's those damn white queers every time.
Those damn white, that white bitch, that white
You
damn
gotta put the H in there for emphasis.
emphasis.
Okay,
Well, whatever. Moving on. 3,
we're starting.
2, 1, go.
The Voltron crew getting death threats, although if Hori had an active Twitter, Lord knows his mentions would be hot. And I'd
Oh,
be
yeah,
right there with you,
100%.
because that man serves zero purpose.
Yeah, you can
Anyways,
complain about
let's
fans
start
acting
with
up.
that, like, it was
Yeah.
all fine. Because of MHA's deteriorating writing quality, no one really won, because every character was reduced to a fraction of who they used to be.
Okay,
with
that's
none
a
of the
whole
depth
ass
they
lie.
possessed earlier in the story. I.e., every dynamic in the show is superficial, because the story would rather focus on the idea of community as a whole, rather
Vague
than the relationships
posting.
or even friendships those communities have birthed over the course of the narrative.
Vague
Ochako has
posting.
practically ignored Deku for almost a decade, because I guess she was
So now they're
busy on certain
complaining
business
about
trips.
Wait,
about the
pause.
relationships not being focused on.
Okay, pause. So, Yeah, this takes place after the original story is done, right? This is like the final.
Yeah,
volume.
they're like grown-ups now, right?
Yeah,
This is
they're
like a flash
grown-ups
forward.
now. Yeah, it's a flash forward. They're grown-ups, and Ochako is literally like doing the heavy lifting of introducing super-powered mental health, essentially, and creating foundations so that there will be less likely to be, villains that are created as a result of society neglecting their needs.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah,
interesting, actually.
yeah. This has been like the built up of her entire character up to this point. Of freaking course, she's going to be too busy with that to talk to freaking Deku. But that doesn't ignore the fact that for the most of the story, Deku has been a very huge motivator for her and has influenced her character in positive ways. So of course she's not gonna just up and forget that.
Was this what they had on screen earlier where they said they hadn't talked in 4 years?
Yeah, they didn't, apparently they didn't really, talk to each other in 8 years, but, so did almost everyone else in their class. Almost.
Like, dude, that's being an adult!
Yeah, dude, what the
fuck?
you're
21, I know you're fresh out of high school, but yeah, that happens sometimes. You might go, 4, 8, 10 years without seeing somebody, it's normal.
Yeah, and it's also
it doesn't mean they didn't correspond. They might have sent letters and texts and things just because they hadn't seen each other in person. Well, they have adult lives to live.
And
they're
also,
not in school anymore.
This chick has become a freaking, creating mental health facilities and shit like that. Basically a social worker, a superpower social worker, and a rescue.
Oh, somebody says it was a Somebody says it was a mistranslation. Anyway, someone says it was a mistranslation.
Yeah, it was. Then there you go. Then it's extra bullshit.
But yeah,
this chick has become a social worker.
It's normal as
and
adults
Deku has become
to maybe
a freaking
not see each other
teacher.
For a year or two.
Yeah. Deku has become a teacher for superpowered people because he lost his power. Spoiler alert. So they're busy. They're too busy doing real shit.
I went Edward Elric at the end. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, the real quote
is
they couldn't hang out as much as they could. So they hung out. They just couldn't do as much as they wanted to.
Wow! When you grow up, you don't hang out with your high school friends as much anymore, if at all.
Dude,
wow!
That's
a thing.
Fucking cope. This is what happens, dude. This is exactly what we've been saying this entire time. You're so cut to an idea that in your head that you have about a series or about a creator or about certain people that you're willing to ignore or be blind to additional context that could absolutely, completely, shit all over your assessment. It's crazy.
And I just love how they're blaming the lack of quality of shows on white queer shippers and fandom, and now at the very end here they're complaining that Boku no Hero. Now they're complaining it didn't focus enough on the relationships between characters. What do you want, bro?
Yeah, dude, and also the majority of fans of most manga are gonna be Japanese. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they did not write this for Americans, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, seriously, I don't know. Anyway, 1501, that's where I'm at.
Let me get back a little bit. I'm at 1505.
Okay.
Alright, I'm good enough there. Okay.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
And
we're almost to the Arcane part.
The drive to seemingly ask her out, I think, it's only made possible because a dead minority told Ochako that she wants her to
pause.
No. First off, Toga is not a minority.
A dead minority.
Toga is not a minority.
In what way would he say she's a minority?
I don't know.
Like
the only
way
that she would be a minority is because she has mental health issues. That's it.
Dude, all these characters are Japanese! It's the same thing Lily did! She thinks anime characters are white! Oh no!
No. But okay, so this is a symbolic thing. Because the whole thing up to this point is that the yandere character, Toga, her whole thing is that she was also into Deku. In a weird, crazy way. And in the final battle of the story, Toga died in Ochako's arms, right? And that clearly fucked her up, as you can probably tell, right? Because she was like 14 at the time or something. Oh, yeah. So, because of knowing about what Toga had been through, the fact that she became a villain largely because society couldn't accept her or didn't have the proper, things in place to properly deal with her mental illness and different, stuff she has going on, she has dedicated her life to making sure that doesn't happen to another person. And she has been using Toga, unconsciously, I guess, as an excuse to hold herself back from being happy, from going after Deku for the thing that she. So
is she not
wants.
literally? Is she not literally seeing a ghost? She's not literally seeing a ghost.
No, yeah, it's not.
Right?
It's not a literal thing. It's a symbolic thing.
Yeah, so this is like she always has this person in mind when doing her work. Is what I'm getting.
Yes.
Oh god, I wonder if that's foreshadowing. Bakugo spent most of his life trying to be better for one specific person, trying to accommodate that one specific person, only to be rejected by that one specific person because, I don't know, I guess the quirkless bum somehow has better things to do, like taxes.
Okay, pause. So you actually thought that Bakugo was gay for Deku?
That includes you, buddy.
You're fucking sad, dog. You're really, really sad. This gets even sadder the further we get into this. Bakugo didn't just become better because of Deku. Or at the very least, he didn't do so because he wanted to fuck him. He did it because he regretted bullying him as a kid, and for a good chunk of the show. And he sees the sacrifices that other people are willing to make to do the right thing, and he actually wants to be a better fucking person. That's it.
So typical fucking shonen rival character. Very archetypical. Like, is this the first shonen manga you ever read, my bro?
Why is MHA in an Arcane video? Because the Kool-Aid Man is red.
Or jury duty. This is a real story, written by a person that
Okay, hold on. I gotta read this. Fuck, I gotta read. Pause. I gotta read this. This is to say nothing of Shoto and Hawks not really getting any special or interesting dynamic with anyone. That's a fucking lie. You're telling me that they may not be interesting to you, but they are definitely meant to be special in the story. Shoto has plenty of interactions with freaking Deku and Bakugo and many of the other members in Class 1A, other heroes, his fucking dad. Like, what are you talking about? And how Kaminari isn't dating Jiro, but just decided to put his agency next to hers because he's too scared to work at a job at 25 years old. Okay, dude, what the fuck, man? Now you're the one being shipper brain, dog. 100%.
Yeah, like, this is shipping brain bullshit. Like, dude, you're like, he's like, I sound better than the shippers, and then he's bitching about shipping.
Motherfucker, that is you! It's you! You're doing that! That's you! What's going on?
This whole thing is projection. This really discriminatory projection, because the white queers, not trans people though, they know progression. I mean, they know trans people know oppression, but the rest of those white queers, they don't know what real oppression is.
These freaking subhumans, get them the fuck out of here!
21-year-old fucking fuckhead who's bitching about shipping as a media analysis.
And also, Kaminari and Jiro decided to have a hero agency next to each other by complete accident. It was complete accident.
Was it like a joke?
Yes.
Like they happened to be next door to each other? That's funny.
Yes.
Discrimination. Because shows like Arcane make it very hard to say that statement with a straight face. As seemingly every character who opposes the system in some way either die and jinx, get converted by
white
the
queer people don't know what discrimination is, okay, guy?
Okay. Or get treated like they're purely madmen with no ounce of humanity left in their being.
Okay, well, now you're just actually factually fucking lying right now. Pause. You are actually lying. Actually lying. Vi
I'm gonna get water while you rant.
Sure. First off, let's go point by point. Vi didn't get converted into loving capitalism. She saw that a bunch of people from the Undercity were about to go to war and wreck the tenuous peace that they have between the two sides of the cities. And she is trying to prevent her freaking psychotic sister from causing that shit to happen. This isn't her endorsing Piltover or saying that it can't do anything wrong. It's saying that if Piltover is going to get better, we cannot allow Jinx to do what she is doing. That is just factually correct. That's number one. What's the other shit he said?
Die and Jinx get converted by the cap.
Oh, right.
All right,
People that were opposed to the
I
system
have no idea what
died.
you're talking about, but I'm back.
Okay, that's fine. People opposed to the system die. Yeah? That's called a tragedy? That's what happens in these types of stories? People die when they are killed? I know, crazy concept. Alright? And also, people that are for the system and against the system die. So now you're just lying. We're just lying now, apparently.
So you're telling me it's a fucking political drama?
Yes, but the politics isn't the core of the show. The core
even
of the
so,
show
but
is, yeah.
He doesn't seem to understand that. You know? Like, and you're bitching about other people's media literacy. That's the thing that kills me here.
For fucking real. What else did they say? Hold on.
Capitalism of Piltover like Vi, or get treated like they're purely madmen with no ounce of humanity left in
But
them.
only white queer
Okay,
people.
now
Those are the
you're
only people with
factually
no media
lying.
literacy, according to this idiot.
This person said, or they get treated like they are absolutely inhuman. Meanwhile, at the literally at the very end of the story, it ends with Piltover and Zaun, the two sides of the city that have been against each other, working together to take down a threat, and the council being rebuilt with a representative from Zaun being in the table. So now you're just lying.
This is such a strange phenomenon of
What
people
the
just
Why?
talking with authority on shows they don't understand or didn't watch closely enough or didn't watch at all. I don't get this. I really don't.
Dude, yeah, this is
Like, I mean,
lordship
I
mentality
barely
where
know
it's
what you're
all about the
talking about.
politics.
But I can at least get the sense that, yeah, this show is supposed to have tragic moments and not everyone survives or wins the day,
Yes.
you know, kind of like real life.
Yeah, because it's not a show made for 12-year-olds, it's a show made for freaking older teenagers and above.
Well, it's another point. They're comparing this to shows made for children.
Yeah.
Another problem these types seem to have.
Like, what are you talking about? They did, like, you're going to literally look at me in the freaking face and tell me that Arcane is looking at the people that are critical of the system that they live in, and they show them as inhuman monsters when Jinx freaking exists. When, for the entirety of the show, it has been us walking through the hell this chick is going through because of what the system has put her through. Are you fucking for real? Are you pissing in my cereal right now?
I think so.
Well, I'm gonna just call this person R. Kelly for the rest of the stream. Okay. Anyway.
Just be your name for them from now on. All right, where are you at so we can try to finish this goddamn...
Yeah, sorry. 1739.
39. Just get back there. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Or in Isha's case, you also die. The amount
Okay,
of victims in this show
that's a
is
tragedy.
astounding. Zaun didn't choose to be left alone, deserted like they were. And yet the people on the upside constantly reap the benefit of their suffering. Jinx
Wait a
embodies that.
second,
She's someone
pause.
who ultimately feels...
Oh my fucking god, pause. Zaun was left... Okay, for context.
Sounds like he really doesn't understand this character.
They really don't. Zaun is like the undercity part of this big city, which is called Piltover. Context. So...
Okay.
Oh my god. Zon
It's like a
was-
cyberpunk slum
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. The Undercity was left alone in the beginning of the story before the inciting incident happened, because after a civil war between the two sides occurred years before the story began, basically the main character's father, adoptive father, whatever, who is a leader of the community, made a deal with the authority figures in Piltover to, hey, leave us alone, let's do our thing, make sure that the cops don't patrol around as much, and we'll keep things civil. So it was an active choice. Now, yes, Undercity didn't choose to be as destitute as they were. That is absolutely true. That is a fault of Piltover. And guess what? The show never gave them the pass. You're doing the same thing that freaking Michaela did in their fucking video. You're saying the same exact shit. You're accusing the show of siding with the freaking capitalist demagogues that control the story society, when it absolutely isn't doing that. In fact, the story ends with that shit being relatively dismantled, and hopefully things are going to get better. So what the fuck are we on about?
I just love when people with no media literacy complain about other people's media literacy.
Thanks as always, people. Another day, another fun video. And we got more on the way. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what you see, want to share your thoughts, and want to see more. And if you're feeling real generous, support me on Patreon. For just $1 a month, y'all can jump onto my Discord server.
With blackjack and hookers.
I know, genius name, came up with it myself. And you can get shoutouts at the end of each new video, if you're into that sort of thing. You want to see some behind the scenes stuff too? Feel free to throw in some more. Stay tuned.